mighty Baboso Negro, one of the most promising red wine grapes of the Canary Islands, capable of producing full-bodied, flavor-packed dry red wines. Actually, for quite some time, I think several centuries, the grape kind of fell out of fashion in the Canary Islands. It's quite difficult to grow, its yields are relatively small, and its berries have quite thin skins and are susceptible to fungal attack. So contrast this with the grape that we looked at in the last episode, Lisson Negro, which is very hardy and produces huge yield in virtually all the microclimates of the Canary Islands. And you can understand why today an order of magnitude more Lisson Negro is grown than Baboso Negro in the archipelago. Thankfully, however, several producers have decided that it's worth the additional effort and economic risk of growing this grape, and I'm glad they have decided that, because I can tell you through personal tasting experience that when the grapes are grown on the best vineyard sites, best plots, and handled correctly, both in the vineyard and the bodega, Baboso Negro really does produce outstanding, full-bodied red wine. So I have chosen Vera de la Fuente 2018 Baboso Negro to introduce you to this grape today. And the reason I've chosen this particular wine is because I have tried previous vintages. I've tried the 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. And what I liked in those wines was how it really showed off the big, strong personality of the grape. I poured it out a couple hours ago into this carafe, and my intention was to let it air and really open up for this tasting. Something did catch my attention straight away, which is that it's more translucent than I expected it to be. So it's a lovely crimson color, but you can see through it. Actually, if I pour it out into the glass, maybe you can see a little better. You can see through it relatively, well, not easily, but if I look down from the top, I can still see the stem of the glass, which I don't remember being able to do with the previous vintages of this wine, which maybe gives us a clue that we're going to be experiencing something a little different with the 2018 vintage. Let's give it a try and find out. Actually, like the previous vintages, there's an explosion of blue, purple, black fruit straight away on the nose. So I'm getting plenty of ripe blueberry, ripe blackberries, black currant, black cherry, those sorts of things. And again, like previous vintages, it's really floral, a really big bouquet to this wine. We'll say violet, maybe a little rose in the background as well. And some spicy notes too, maybe some licorice in there. Okay, so plenty of tannin, which I was hoping for, was expecting. Good heat. We got 14.5% alcohol in this wine, so those two things together, and the hit of the primary grape flavors, so these are the things derived directly from the flavors from the grape, the fruity flavors, the floral, these are all combining to make it really have a good solid mouthfeel. Now what I'm getting actually while sipping it, a little bit more so than when I was just sniffing it, are the secondary aromas. So these are aromas that were introduced during the winemaking process as opposed to directly from the grape. And what I'm talking about here are the notes that have been introduced from barrel aging. So this wine has spent 12 months in, I think, mixed French and American oak barrels. And what it's picked up from that is a smokiness. So often these barrels are charred on the inside, and that comes through as a smoky flavor in the wine, and also there's some sweet notes coming through from the oak as well. It's a dry wine, but you're getting these sweet notes from the oak, such as caramel and some vanilla as well, and then also there's kind of coffee and chocolate type flavors. So really delicious, really flavorful wine. Now, here's the thing. This wine is genuinely more fresh, sharper, fresher than I expected it to be. Now, I remember the previous vintages being, dare I say, quite voluptuous, whereas this one is higher in acidity, maybe a tiny bit lighter bodied as well. And putting that together with the fact that the wine is not as intense a color as the previous vintages, I would guess that in this part of Tenerife, the southeastern part of Tenerife, they experienced a slightly cooler climate in 2018 than they had done for several years before. And another possibility is that the winemaker, a really fine gentleman named Ivan Frias Perez, decided that he wanted to introduce more freshness into this wine by perhaps harvesting the grapes a little bit earlier than he had done in previous years. Whatever the reason, I think we can say that with the 2018 Vera de la Fuente Baboso Negro, we have a wine from a natural heavyweight grape that is turned up for the tasting today, lean and mean. Watch out, you other red grapes in the Canary Islands. Baboso is back.